Welcome to Mr. V Teaching Math. In this session, we're going to be looking at what I call my slightly more complex algebra worksheet. This is taking what we've learned so far and expanding on the topics we've covered already. I'm going to work through some examples of most of what's on this page. I'm not going to do any examples for question 1, as I've done quite a few of those already. I will do an example for question 2. My goal is to get z by itself. First, I attempt to simplify using ordinary bedmass. Brackets. I go inside the brackets, z minus 3. Well, I don't know what z is, I can't do it. So now my goal, I have to get rid of things. I'm going to do things backwards. I'm going to go bedmass backwards. So, subtraction and addition. I would think this, except that it's in brackets. So I'm not getting rid of that. So I'm going to go to division multiplication. And the lazy mathematician left out a multiplication symbol. I'll be getting rid of this. The opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. And whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. The times between 5 and dividing by 5 are going to cancel, leaving with z minus 3. At this point, the brackets don't mean anything, so I don't have to keep them in there. And 12 divided by 5 is 2.4. Continuing on, this time I'll be getting rid of only the only thing there is to get rid of. Z minus 3 plus 3 equals 2.4 plus 3. Those will cancel. Z is equal to 5.4. And of course, I will go on to check it with left side, right side. The original question. I'm going to substitute. Since I'm putting brackets where the z used to be, I'm going to have to upgrade these to a higher level of bracket. And I think that z is 5.4. Oops, I forgot something on my little z here. I want that so that it looks more like a z and not like a 2. Bedmass, brackets first. I'm not doing that. 5.4 minus 3 should come out to 2.4. And let's do 5 times 2.4. And you'll note that I did actually go and test that on my calculator just to make sure, even though I did it moments ago. Looks like I did it right. Now, moving on to question 3 on this particular worksheet. Here's an example, much like question 3. First, I'm going to try to simplify the question. Let's start by doing bedmass. Brackets, none. Exponents, none. Division, multiplication, well, 1 divided by 7. I'm going to start with 1 divided by 7. Which actually comes out to 0.142857143 x plus 3 equals 9. All right. We're going to run into some trouble with this, quite possibly. We'll have to see. Sometimes it's better to act like these are fractions, but if you're not very good at fractions, you're going to need to treat them like decimals. That can lead to potential problems. In my classroom, we're treating them like decimals because we haven't done fractions this year yet. If you're good at fractions, you might want to leave it as a fraction. Moving on, our goal is to get x by itself. I'm going to get rid of things. And get rid of that first. And those will cancel, leaving me with this. Oops, forgot my x. Then I need to get rid of the multiplying by this large decimal. Those will cancel. And x, 6 divided by decimal 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, and 1, 4, 3 comes out to, according to my calculator, there's something going on here that we're going to run into trouble with that you'll see in just a moment. So there's what I think the answer is. Now, I'm going to go and test that in left side, right side. There's what I think the answer is. The original question. So, I need a lot of room here, where I need to write really small. And then I have to begin solving this question. I run into an interesting problem. It's not exactly equal. What I've run into is the difficulty with turning fractions into decimals. My calculator at this point rounded, because if you look carefully, you'll notice that it's repeating 142857. 1428, it rounded up. But by rounding, it meant that when I went over here to do this division, because I punched it in like this on my calculator, it did not round, it rounded, but then this division didn't come out correctly, because it's actually not quite right. This is actually 42. If I go and do this question, x needs to be 42 in order for it to work correctly. If you see on your calculator 9999999 repeating, even if it's off by a little bit, for the purposes of our class at this point in time, you're going to round that up to 42. And when you go down here to do it in your left side, right side, it will work correctly. Now the reality is that later on in math that won't be adequate, but for our classroom, that'll do.